In a dusty, sunburned valley, trapped between the mountains and the sea, lies the truest test of a driver's heart. Hi, and thanks for joining us for Round 5 of the Missed Apex Formula 3 Challenge as we travel to Barcelona to throw down on the most rigorous track of them all. From the tire-trashing tarmac to the terrifying Turn 9, there is no place to hide, and any weakness of the drivers will be brutally exposed. To get us underway today, please give a warm welcome to your commentators, Chris Stevens and Chris Catman Turner.
The championship approaches crunch time as the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup arrives at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya for round 5, the penultimate round of the second season of our F3 series. After tonight, we will apply the one drop score that each driver gets, and we will have our title protagonists ahead of the finale. I'm Chris Stevens, alongside me, Chris Catman Turner. Chris, we're getting to that point in the championship where things are starting to get just a little bit tense out there.
It is, and we're starting to see some real rivalries forming between the top three, and they're still incredibly close coming towards the end of the season.
They certainly are. It's been a real ebb and flow across the opening 4 rounds of the championship. We have 20 minutes remaining in free practice before qualifying, so let's head trackside and take a look at the action. ...20 minutes of free practice before we go into a 10-minute open qualifying session. Here is the championship leader as it stands, Kyle Power, currently leading on 453 points, just 4 points clear of Danny Henney, the defending champion. And it's fair to say that they ran a little bit close at Silverstone at times, not least Danny Henney with Gregory Gomez, as we'll recap you later on in the session. But Chris, you know, it's been interesting watching this dynamic between Danny and Kyle, because both kind of representing Venom Works in their liveries. We think of them a lot as teammates. We don't run teams in this championship, but they work together a lot, and that dynamic seems to be really changing now that they're both in the hunt for the title and we're approaching that crucial stage.
Yeah, we've seen in plenty of motorsport disciplines that teammates don't tend to get on well when the title fight is on and their heat turns up. Who's going to be the Rosberg and who's going to be the Hamilton in this situation?
Who's going to be the Senna and who's going to be the Prost? And plenty of other analogies that we could draw between those two, although there's been no bad blood between them just yet, although that could all change in the remaining 6 races that we have left to run across 2 rounds remaining in this second season of our F3 Cup. And I've got to say, it's been a huge success, the transition into using the Dallara F312 chassis, and that's provided some excellent entertainment for us over the last year or so since we made that transition. Obviously this season's taken a little bit longer to get around because we've been running more events, things like the endurance event, and of course we were karting last month as well, which this man won. So he's definitely coming in high spirits, having also just sealed the Swarm Championship as well, I believe.
Yeah, Danny's definitely hoping to wipe the smile off Kyle's face, I reckon.
Certainly is. So 17 minutes remain in this practice session. It's currently Gregory Gomez who leads the way on a 1 minute 36.414. He leads by 0.2 of a second to Danny Henney in car number 93. And then we have Alex Jonesma in third, Stephen Williams and Luca Harrison, your top 5 at the moment. And we've seen quite a few top cars in this, and there's been a real mix of cars fighting at the front of the field across the various practice sessions. I joined the guys for Saturday practice, and I must say the car is an absolute joy to drive around this Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. All 4.675 kilometers of it has been absolutely brilliant. A lot more grip out there than they tend to get in the officials, I would say as well. So very quick lap times. We could well be looking at a 1 minute 35 for pole position in a few minutes time.
And the good thing is with this car as well, Chris, we do tend to see quite close racing. They're allowed to follow each other very closely, which they can't necessarily do in some of the higher powered, higher downforce cars. So going in the F3, they get very close, and we saw last season with Alex Van Geen's defensive masterclass. I hope we see something very similar today.
Yeah, absolutely. There is plenty of places where you can go side by side through here, and yeah, if those races that we ran in practice were anything to go by, then we're in for another great night of action in the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. Now, if you weren't with us last time at Silverstone, you really missed out. We had quite a bit of drama, quite a bit of controversy as well, it must be said. Contact between Gomez and Henny on the final lap of the feature race was certainly the sparking point. Another crucial moment in Henny's championship, it must be said as well. He's had so much bad luck this season, although he was able to recover some good points out of it as well. But if you weren't with us for the last round, then we can catch you up with the events from Silverstone. The championship battle began to enter its final stages as the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup returned to a driver's favourite venue, Silverstone. Qualifying may have seemed to be business as usual with Danny Henny on pole, but the racing gods had other plans in the feature race. So that is a clear run through turn 1 for Danny Henny, who leads from Alex Van Gien, trying to get up alongside Alexander Drolsma there. Down the inside he goes into the loop, and this will be crucial for Drolsma's race because we know how hard that Van Gien can race. And it's a big slip, and a spin for Drolsma. That is another race where Drolsma has lost it on the opening lap, but it's a clean run now for Alex Van Gien. Championship leader Stephen Williams struggled in the early stages, losing places before contact with David Hatton dropped him through the field. And Hatton's still trying to, and he's tagged Williams. The championship leader is round, down a maggot to Beckett. Henny built up an advantage out front, but it was wiped out by an erroneous safety car, which put Gregory Gomez right on his tail. There is the Porsche safety car. Chris, you mentioned there was an incident on track. We've had yellows out since then, and Danny's now letting the Cayman safety car go through. This is most unusual.
Well, we were just saying that the drama had abated. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be quite an exciting restart because these guys are probably not very used to doing safety car restarts.
We've never had one. With a 3-lap sprint to the finish, Gomez tried everything to get past, but it all ended in tears. He's tagged Henny! The two leaders come together! Once again, it was Kyle Power who was able to pick up the spoils, taking his second victory of the season. Don't drop it now, Kyle, because you are about to take victory in the feature race at Silverstone. Round 4 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup feature race goes to Kyle Power in the most bizarre and dramatic race this championship has seen. The only crumb of comfort for Henny was that he still finished 20th, which gave him reverse grid pole. Away they go. It is a clean start, crucially, for Danny Henny, just what he needed, and Drolsma doing exactly what he needed to do. Although Sexton's going to fight it around the outside, and he will have the line into left field, but Drolsma has got his whole car in front of the nose of Andrew Sexton there, and he gets himself into second place and can now set his sights on Danny Henny, the race leader, who already has a 1.3 second lead. Resisting the pressure behind from Alex Drolsma, redeeming himself after a lap 1 spin in the feature race, Henny salvaged a 4th win of the season. Comes round the final corner now, Danny Henny takes the victory in the first of the 2 reverse grid races at Silverstone. Alex Drolsma piled on the pressure, just half a second in it. Power was able to come through the field, but didn't quite make it to the podium, as Andrew Sexton just clung on to 3rd place for his maiden rostrum appearance.
Speaking of pressure, Kyle Power is drawing alongside as they're coming up to the finishing line. And I think Sexton just holds it by less than a 10th of a second on the line. That was so close.
Alexander Dobbelsberger dominated the second of the reverse grid sprint races from pole, claiming an overdue first win of the season in spectacular fashion. A thrilling battle emerged behind him, however, as Matt Cook and Alex Smith squabbled over a rare opportunity to finish on the podium. The frontrunners from the earlier races were able to catch up. Williams, however, could not take advantage, as he had his second contact of the night.
Stephen Williams here now under massive pressure behind whilst he's trying to take Smith. There's 3 wide. Oh, and he's been touched!
Oh no, he's been tagged! It was Alex Van Gien who made up for a spin from second place in the feature race, who came through to finish on the podium behind Henny. It's turning into a 3-horse race at the head of the championship, as Kyle Power takes over the top spot by 4 points to Henny, with only one more round before drop scores are taken into account ahead of the finale. Williams drops to third, a further 10 points back. Spanners takes over the lead in the gold standings, with Colton Myers starting to build a lead in the silver championship. Well, a three-horse race emerging for the title between Kyle Power, Danny Henney and Stephen Williams, and it's interesting, looking at their seasons, because Danny's been able to win at least one race in every single round so far this season. He's had 4 wins from the 4 rounds. Stephen Williams, only 1 win to his name so far this season, and of course had a bit of a torrid time at Silverstone last time out, as you just saw, but still right in there in the thick of the championship because of his consistency, Chris.
Absolutely, that's the name of the game. With so many points available in each round, you have to be up there at every single race. Being taken out in one race, as we saw with Danny last time out, can make a massive difference, particularly in the feature race, which earns you more points.
Absolutely. Here is Richard Spanners Ready, our Lord and Saviour of the Missed Apex podcast, currently leading the gold driver standings, actually. So it's nice for the panelists. We have Power topping the overall standings and Spanners at the top of the gold standings. If you are new to this championship, we have 3 different driver classes. We have Platinum, Gold and Silver, each with their own championship and of course an overall standings as well. And it's all depending on your driver ability. It's not based on iRacing. It is judged by the admins. And allow me to spend a minute to thank Sam Watley and Richard Molden for the time and effort they put into making this championship happen. And we couldn't do it without them. There's an awful lot of work that they do behind the scenes to get this series going and to help us have the healthy grid numbers that we've had throughout the years. Always at least 30 cars on the grid, which is absolutely fantastic. And we've had highs of almost 60 cars at times, especially for the opening rounds of the season. So definitely helping to keep this a very competitive championship indeed.
It's lovely to see, and as we've been going along, we're seeing just so many different people gaining in speed, and actually they've all come together. The grid is so fast now, Chris.
They certainly are. Seen a lot of improvement, not least from Spanners himself, and this man Alex Van Gien as well, sporting some new colours as he's sort of re-decaled his car, put a bit of chrome on it as well, having a nice little tussle there with Luca Harrison and Stephen Williams at the moment. And if there's one thing we know about Alex Van Gien, is even in a practice session he's not willing to give up track position.
It's all good practice. He's alongside with Stephen Williams there, so these guys are very close on pace this weekend, just a couple of tenths between them, so they're already getting in their battles as Van Gien lunges down the inside and actually takes him off. So let's hope we don't see a repeat of that again during the actual feature race.
Oh dear, and Danny's gone straight into the side of him as well. That is not what either of them would need at any point this evening. Of course, Stephen Williams coming in on the back foot after 2 incidents in 2 races at Silverstone, not like him. Oh, and now Van Gien goes for a run as well. It seems like the temperatures are soaring at Barcelona, at the virtual Barcelona anyway. And those opening laps in particular, you've got to be careful on those cold tyres. Sort of peak performance tends to come around lap 3 and 4. But speaking of the racing action that we may well see here tonight, this is a fantastic venue. Contrary to what most Formula 1 fans will tell you, it is a great venue for racing, and Spanners and Alex Van Gien showed us just how you can go wheel to wheel a few weeks ago.
Spanners here. This is where I would normally show you a record-breaking, scintillating, sizzling hot lap of the venue of the weekend. But I'm going to do something just a little bit different today as I show you me and Alex Van Gien dueling with each other around the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. Now, I think it's fair to say that me and Gene Z have had our fair share of scrapes, but now it's all about racing room and respect. Let's see how this goes down. Okay, here we go, down into turn 1. Now, the wonderful thing about this circuit is so many of the corners allow you to hold the line around the outside. Now, I'm going to pick a deliberately late braking point to go deep into turn 1, leaving some racing room on the inside, but I'm hoping that gives me the inside line into turn 2. That puts Van Gien on the defensive, but he's got extra speed from turn 2 and can stay tight around turn 3. On your own round turn 3, you can theoretically go around flat, though few can do it. Watch how wide I go now, knowing that I'm going to brake deep and try and do a cutback, which he was ready for and successfully blocked off. Very hard to overtake here. 5. Downhill, it's incredibly hard to judge your braking point, and Van Gien, with his extra racecraft over me, is able to hold it round the outside. I will say in this practice session, I had a little bit more pace on him. I had a little bit less fuel and warmer tyres. So turn 9 is nearly flat with a lift, but not when you've got aero wash. I put my wheel on the dirt, I get a 1 second slowdown, but I figure I'm going to serve that in this battle anyway. Do I take a lunge down into turn 10? Amazing attempt, Spanners, well done. But Alex, the wily old fox, he's seen that coming, and again, he's gone round the outside to defend, which is wonderful. Into the unpopular Sector 3 in Barcelona here, and it is a little bit follow my leader. You don't want to do anything too crazy here. You just want to set yourself up so you've got a good run down the home straight. And unlike the F1 cars, the speed of the F3 does mean that if you get a good exit out of the chicanes, you should be able to challenge. Now I'm going to hang on, do slightly more than 1 lap to show my challenge into turn 1, and we've got Danny Henny there that we've overtaken easily. What a mug. So I'm going around the outside again. I'm going to pick a slightly later braking point because I know I'm going deeper. Van Gien turns in slightly earlier to make sure that he's got traction once again. Oh, well, there's contact. There's contact. That's definitely Van Gien's fault. I would say more than fault, that was assault. But the reason I am showing you me and Van Gien going wheel to wheel instead of a hot lap is because here, more than any other track I think we've done in the F3 series, it's no good to just be fast. You also need racecraft. I might be in trouble. Enjoy the show, guys.
Just under 4 minutes remaining in this free practice session before we go into qualifying. Bit of close action there between Junsma and Alex Van Gien. So hopefully in these final few moments before practice ends, we will get a chance to quickly grab our championship leader and bring him into the commentary booth for a quick word before qualifying starts. Allow me to just take this opportunity to thank everyone who's joining us on the YouTube live stream. Welcome to the Missed Apex Motorsport YouTube channel. And hopefully we'll be able to bring you championship leader Kyle Power for the last couple of minutes of this free practice session. But thanks for joining us. And if you haven't already, then please remember to subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you are notified when we go live. You'll have all of our esports endeavors on this channel, and of course don't forget to subscribe to the main Missed Apex F1 YouTube channel as well for our podcast recording live streams Sundays at 8 p.m. UK time. Of course, we have got the jewel in the crown this weekend, the Monaco Grand Prix, and if the forecasts are anything to be believed, we could well be in for an exciting one on Sunday. I know a lot of people aren't necessarily expecting it, but I'm a big fan of Monaco, and so I'm very much looking forward to the Monaco Grand Prix as always. And I do believe we have the championship leader with us, Chris.
We do. We're joined by Kyle Power, who is leading the championship. We have a couple of minutes left till qualifying, so very quickly, Kyle, how pressured is it at the top?
It's quite pressured, yeah. For this round in particular, Greg is looking ridiculously fast, so he's definitely got us all covered on 1 lap pace. I'm struggling. I think 7th in practice at the moment is about where I'll be in qualifying if I can hook it all up, but I think I've got stronger race pace, so it's going to be very tense. And with the tyre model the way it is, the tyres really go off. The car transitions from understeer to oversteer, so the last few laps are going to be crucial.
Absolutely, and that is where we could see some more clashes between the top guys. So hoping to pick up the pieces. You tend to be the one who comes through after all the carnage.
Indeed, I've been quite fortunate. Little old me usually wobbles through and picks up the pieces. But I don't know. Hopefully that'll happen tonight. I don't want to wish bad on my competitors, but it would be quite welcome.
Yeah, well, you've got some work to do. As I say, both of them, Danny and Stephen, are a couple of places ahead. And you've got Alex Van Gien in the mix as well. How do you see that battle going?
It's going to be spicy. I've also got my nephew Luke racing for the first time tonight, and he's also very fast. So we've got a few new dynamics to the equation. But it's great battling Alex. It's great battling Danny and Stephen. We've all battled each other loads. We all trust each other. So I'm sure it's going to be a nice, tense, and very hard but fair battle.
Fantastic. Enjoy your evening, Carl. Good luck for the races.
Nice one. Thanks.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to seeing his nephew out in action. Luke Power in 8th place in this session at the moment. You'll be able to spot him with the black and yellow livery. There he is, making his debut in this championship. And going off of what Carl has told us, is a very rapid young man indeed. Almost another Luca, joining us at just 14 years old. So plenty of speed, and I'm sure he'll be looking to build on some experience, and has definitely got a good friend in Kyle Power there to help him, help guide him through in these early stages of his esports career.
He's very quick. I don't think it'll be long before he's given Kyle a few lessons at this rate. He's only a 10th behind him in his first race. That's very impressive pace there from Luke.
Yeah, it certainly is. We'll see how it pans out in qualifying, which is now green. Now, if you haven't joined us for qualifying before, it is not like the officials where you go out by yourself and you have 2 flying laps to get the job done. It is a 10-minute open session. So as you can see, all the cars filing out of the pit lane all at once. And Lucas Raskovitz there at the head of the pack, finding out very quickly how little grip you have on cold tyres out there, as he ran very deep into turn 1, and Dobbelsberger and Gomez go past him. So Dobbelsberger with the Ace of Spades livery, the black and white with the yellow tipped nose, now leading the pack ahead of Grigore Gomez and the pink and white car. They'll be leading the field around. Danny Henney just behind Raskovitz here as well. We can see there in his familiar red Venom Works car, actually going through on Raskovitz as well there. So Raskovitz choosing to take a more cautious approach to this outlap after nearly running off the circuit at the first corner. Raskovitz second in the gold driver standings as well, actually, so one to watch out for in that class. But there is Danny Henney, the man who is going for a trilogy of titles. He was the Formula Renault champion in our second season. He's the inaugural F3 champion, and he wants to make it 3 in a row.
So you were saying, Chris, that the tyres are quite important around here. What sort of times are we expecting, and when are we expecting those times to be cropping up? What lap do you reckon those tyres will be at their optimum?
Well, we were looking at mid 1 minute 36s in the free practice session there, as Gomez and Dobbelsberger cross the line to start their first flying laps of this session. But we may well see 1 minute 35s at some point when they get the peak performance, which tends to come in around lap 3 and 4. The first couple of laps, you have to take it a little bit more tentatively. Coming round turn 3, not quite flat out just yet, but they will be once they get the tyres up to temperature. Even I managed to take turn 3 flat during Saturday practice.
And the other thing as well, of course, Chris, is track position, because that slipstream is very powerful here. We just saw Alex in that session, that warm-up session. He was about 3/10 behind at the beginning of the start-finish straight, and he managed to actually out-drag the other car down into the first corner. So you could make good use of that, and we'll have to see how these top guys battle for position in these first couple of laps to be able to get themselves in the optimum place.
Certainly could do, as we ride on board with Grigore Gomez. The exits turn 9. That is one of the places you've got to look out for track limits on this circuit. If you nip one of the cones, you will find yourself with a 1x. If you manage to make the gravel, you could well face a pretty hefty slowdown penalty as well into this fiddly third sector. Worth just mentioning, we are running the Grand Prix layout, so not those fast flowing final 2 corners, but we have this chicane and the old new turn 10, which is the tighter version, which was introduced in 2004, I believe, and was removed and sort of reprofiled last year. but that update hasn't quite made its way to iRacing just yet. So the first flying laps being completed, and it is Henny with provisional pole at the moment with a 1 minute 37.1. He was 0.3 quicker than Alex Dromsma, and another couple of hundredths quicker than Gomez, who we were running with on that lap. But yeah, mid-low 37s. We've got plenty of pace still to come from these guys. There's Alex Van Gien running in 4th place. Sorry, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. Van Gien up there in 4th place and Kyle Power down in 7th. So he's got a bit of work to do. He's about 8 tenths behind Danny, which is actually roughly where he was in practice. So that does seem to be his overall pace here this weekend. But Danny Henny with a 3 tenths advantage right now.
Yeah, we always expect Danny to be quick out the box, but we'll see what his rivals can respond with. Cars are just starting to be coming alive now as they reach the end of this second flying lap. There is Power, currently 8th provisionally, behind his nephew actually, as we ride on board. Luke's gone 6th quickest at the moment. As they approach turn 10. This is a part of the track though where Kyle seems to be making up a lot of time in the practice sessions around that turn 10 hairpin in particular, and it is a very tricky one to get the nose in there and also not to run too wide on the exit and beat yourself out on that yellow curb, of which there are plenty around this circuit. There's 2 more of them at the apex and another nice long sausage curb at the exit of that chicane as well. Another fastest lap from Danny Henny, a 36.6, so we're sub-minute 37 now, and 3.5 tenths clear of Stephen Williams at the moment. Power improves up into 4th place there with a 37.2, but we're not still seeing the ultimate pace, I don't think, just yet. So there is Stephen Williams in the Aston Martin coloured car. Currently 2nd place at the moment. 3rd in the championship is Stephen Williams. He was the championship leader going into the Silverstone round, and a little lock up there as he went through turn 5, running nice and wide on the exit. You can get away with quite a lot of the exit curb there at turn 5 before you get a 1x, so worth pushing the boundaries somewhat. This is the crucial one out of 9, and where so much time can be lost quite easily.
Beautiful shot there from on the nose there of Stephen Williams, and he is in that sweet spot where he can get that draft. There's a little lock up from one of the guys in front. We'll see if that distracts him or not. And
new provisional pole sitter Luca Harrison, fastest with a 36.5. Now he was joking about this in free practice before we went on air, that he was going to hang back and set his lap times later, and I think that strategy is working for him at the moment, because he has gone fastest provisionally, and Henny couldn't improve on that last lap, and I'll tell you what, it's actually been deleted as well, so he must have had a 1x on that last flying lap. So Henny currently 2nd at the moment, a 10th behind Luca Harrison.
Power improves to 5th place, just behind Alex Van Gien, so he's dragging himself up the order now.
Yeah, Henny here as well, he's going to get a little bit balked up behind Alexander Dobertsberger here if he's not careful. Dobertsberger is a very quick driver, don't get me wrong, but 8th fastest at the moment, not quite where he wanted to be. Actually, Gregory Gomez down in 9th place at the moment. Now his last lap time, he will have had an incident actually, because he's got a 4x, and I don't think he's had 4 1x's. I think that may well have been a crash that he's had, and he's had to reset and go again. So not an ideal start to this session for Gregory Gomez, who was quickest in free practice and currently only 9th on the grid at the moment, but there's still time for him to improve. And Henny, 2nd fastest at the moment, really is starting to get held up now behind Dobertsberger, and right on cue Harrison lowers the benchmark even further, a 36.354, now goes 3 tenths clear of Henny, who's backed out of this lap and is trying to create a gap to Dobertsberger now ahead of this final flying. He should get 2 more laps in. 1 minute 45 left on the clock, and Henny comes around the final corner now to start his final flying lap, so he will get 2 more in.
He will get 2 more in, but will the tyres last that long? Kyle was saying that they start to drop off towards the end of the session, so we might see these guys maybe overheating their tyres a little bit. Maybe Danny managed to get a little bit of a cool lap in there, so we'll see what he can do on this flying.
Yeah, he left it late to bail out of it. It was really only in the third sector that he backed out. So we'll see what both of these guys have left in the pocket. Currently 1 second covers the top 9 from Harrison down to Dobertsberger in this session. 0.978 of a second between that top 9. Gomez still yet to improve his time though, in 10th place there. So all eyes on Harrison and Henny to set provisional pole. And I'll tell you what, it's been this way all season. We've had 2 different pole sitters and they have been Harrison and Henny. It's 2 apiece between those 2 at the moment, and it looks like it could swing in one person's favour in this qualifying session. Here's Harrison out to that final chicane, round that final corner. He'll come across the line. This could well be his final effort. We have about 20 seconds left on the clock. He didn't improve on that lap. He had a very slow lap actually, 1 minute 45, so either he backed out of it to try and cool off the tyres or he had a drama somewhere, but he seems to be pushing now in these final seconds of qualifying. Henny coming across the line as well. Now we'll see where he ends up. Still can't improve on that 36.6 that he set earlier. It was a 36.8 that time, so it is still Harrison leading Henny by 0.3 of a second for pole.
I think they will have one last stab at it there. Harrison getting a little bit wide, kipping up the dust. He's really pushing on this final lap, even locked up a little bit. That's lost him a little bit of time as he bled towards the exit.
Yeah, he certainly is pushing on this one, and it's the only way Luca Harrison knows how to drive. Love that shot as they flick through the chicane at 7 and 8 and into 9 now. Plenty of the cones have been discarded already of people who have been exploring the track limits, but no such incidents for Harrison so far in this session. Kyle Power just gone up into 3rd place. Oh, Henny has spun down at turns 7 and 8. He's parked up. That is the end of his session, so he will not be on pole position for this race. All eyes are going to be on Luca Harrison to see if he can improve his lap time, but his main competition is now out of contention. Here he comes across the start-finish line now. The checkered flag has gone out, and he doesn't improve, but it doesn't matter, because that 36.3 seems to be good enough to keep him on pole position at the moment. Parks up the car. He is on top. Henny is in 2nd place, and Power now starting in 3rd place after that last gasp effort there.
That's critical for his championship. He fired in a brilliant lap just towards the end. Still 6 tenths down, but that is crucial. Starting in the 2nd row there, he might be able to pick up the carnage between the front 2.
Well, it's certainly all to play for, isn't it? And you know what? Maybe starting on the front row isn't the best thing in the world. With a 580-meter run from pole position to the first corner, there is going to be plenty of slipstreaming opportunities for the guys further down the field. Of course, Harrison and Henny will be punching the hole in the air for everyone else to drive through. We were talking about collecting 1Xs there. Just a quick question from the chat room asking how many you can get. So you can get 16 in a race. It's 17 for the officials. We rerun it to 16 before you pick up a penalty in the race.
3 championship contenders starting all side by side there, Chris. This is going to be an excellent battle in the feature race.
Yes, they are. Starting 2nd, 3rd and 4th there. Henny, Power, and then Williams. That is a mouth-watering prospect indeed, with Luca Harrison thrown into the mix as well. And that is something they really have to contend with, because we may well be talking about a 3-horse race in the championship, but there are so many quick guys that they still have to navigate in each of these races.
They do, and they do have to look out for Van Geen just behind, because he is not going to be letting up. He's going to be holding no quarters for any of these guys.
Absolutely. So the grid is forming up for the feature race, round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. It will be Luca Harrison on pole position. He will appear in the black and yellow car on the right-hand side of your screen. Then Danny Henney, car number 93 in that familiar bright red car. Kyle Power in the familiar lime green starts in third place alongside Stephen Williams in the Aston Martin coloured car. Those are the top 3 in the championship, all starting together on the grid. Alex Van Gien, car number 4, starts in 5th place, and then it's Mark Greenhow in the orange and white car, and then Alex Johnsmeyer in 7th place with the chrome black and red on his car. Tim Ellis in blue and yellow starts in 8th place, and then Alexander Dobbelsberger, the black and white Ace of Spades car with the yellow tipped nose, he starts in 9th place. Gregory Gomez in pink and white, fastest in free practice, but he starts in 10th place ahead of Alex McBride, Colin Ward, Sam Watley. Richard Spanners Ready starts in 14th place. Tara Tyler, Lucas Raskovitz, Alex Smith, Luke Power, John Langan and Daniel Cook. That is your top 20 for the feature race grid, round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. Just a few seconds until we go racing at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. And we have one of the longest runs to the first corner we'll see all season. Who is going to get to the first corner first? It is Harrison versus Henney on the front row of the grid. Lights are on for the feature race. Round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup is go. Now an awful start for Mark Greenhow in the middle of the pack, and he makes the grass, but it looks like a very good getaway for Danny Henney from second on the grid. He's drawn alongside Harrison as they barrel down towards the first corner. Power has to get out of it, and the top 2 are going to go side by side into the first corner, but Harrison has just been able to hold the lead as they exit turn 2. It is as you were, but it looks like Alex Van Gien has gotten ahead of Stephen Williams there, so the championship runners have been split up there in the first 2 corners.
That was excellent defensive work there from Harrison. Just managed to hold the outside line, because that obviously then blends to the inside for the next corner. Just managed to break that a little bit later than Henney and held it. Brilliant work from him.
Well, a very clean start. Little lock up from Harrison, though. Cold tyres, you've got to be careful on this opening lap, but it looks like a very clean run throughout the entire field. But Henney is hounding the back of Harrison's car. We ride on board with him as they rise up the hill towards turn 9. The exit of this corner could be absolutely crucial, but Harrison getting a rather excellent run through the very fast right-hander there, and as they head towards turn 10 for the first time, Henney's got no chance of looking down the inside there. So into this twisty final sector, very careful with the cold tyres here as well. It'll be very easy to light up those rears and get sent spinning. It's what happened to Danny Henney in one of the practice races. He won't thank me for mentioning that, and nor will Alex Johnsmeyer for mentioning that in the last 2 feature races he's spun out on the opening lap, but he has kept it going this time and is in 6th place. So at the end of the first lap of 12, it is Luca Harrison who leads by just half a second to Danny Henney. Kyle Power in 3rd place, then Alex Van Gien and Stephen Williams. Alex Johnsmeyer sits in 6th place, and then Gregory Gomez has made up a few places from 10th on the grid. He's in 7th, and then Dobbelsberger, Ellis and Ward is your top 10.
Gomez was definitely out of position in practice and in qualifying. I think he made a mistake there, so he is going to try and carve his way through the field. He's got Drillsma to overtake, who is very good at defending, to be honest with you. And they're having a good battle as we speak. Gomez looked to the inside, but he didn't make it. In position 7 and 6 there. They're in a good little battle.
They certainly were, as were Dobbelsberger and Ellis behind them as well.
I wouldn't say anything, Chris. Harrison is dropping Henney, and Henney is falling into the clutches of Power for P2 and 3 there.
Yeah, I was just thinking this. He's had a pretty poor run somewhere, because that gap is now up to 1.1 seconds at the halfway around the second lap, and Power is right on the back of Henney here. And I was going to say, what is Henney going to do about Harrison? Is he going to try and attack Harrison and risk it for the win, or is he going to play it safe, knowing he has to collect points for the championship? But at the moment, it looks like Harrison's got him covered.
Yeah, I don't think Danny's got a choice. He hasn't got an answer for Harrison, who's just pulled out that second lead. And the Maverick on the rear wing there, as we look back to Kyle Power, his teammate. How aggressive is Kyle going to be in this feature race? Is he going to play for the points, knowing that he's got a little cushion of 4 points? Not enough, is it?
It is a very little margin indeed, and knowing Henney, he will strike back at some point. Of course, the Maverick there on the rear wing is reference to one of his favourite Tom Cruise characters, even running the Maverick helmet on his car as well, with the pinstripes. and the name across the top of the helmet as well. And the sequel for Top Gun may have just come out, but Henny is going for a trilogy of titles. And Power hoping to seal his own trilogy as well, actually, having won the karting event last month. He's won the Swarm Championship that we run alongside the officials as well, and now he's hoping to claim the iRacing F3 Cup as well.
There can only be one, Chris. Those two having their trios will be exclusive, so one of them will get it and one of them won't.
Yep, absolutely. It's all to play for, and this is just bubbling very nicely indeed. Oh, as Alex Van Gien just clips one of those cones there, that looks like it will be a 1X for him. You've got to be careful, you get 16 of those. Oh, there is Alex Stronsma trying to get down the inside of Stephen Williams, and we should be paying attention to Stephen Williams, in fact, because he is one of the championship protagonists, third in the standings going into this weekend. Had a torrid time out at Silverstone last time round. 2 contacts in both the feature race and the second sprint race as well. Oh, as Van Gien, who was just out of shot, got very out of shape on that exit curb at the chicane, and Williams now trying to get alongside, but Van Gien squeezes him out onto the grass. But Van Gien with no momentum down the straight. Williams is able to draw clear, and they're really fanning out across the track now as Drolsma tries to find a way through as well. Van Gien getting his elbows out and trying to stick it in the middle of those 2 cars. Van Gien with another brilliant, robust defence there, and is just able to keep Alex Stronsma behind him. So Williams went through into 4th place there, but Van Gien's under big pressure, and here comes Gomez getting around the outside of Drolsma at turn 3. Fantastic! What a move there from Gregori Gomez, with Drolsma coming back at him round the outside of turn 4, but Gomez with the line is able to just push Drolsma out wide. And he's going for a dive now on Van Gien as well. I don't think that was intentional. I think just trying to defend from Drolsma, and probably accidentally went up the inside of Van Gien for good measure as well. He's going to go again down the inside of 7. You don't tend to get too much wheel-to-wheel racing there, for good reason as well. So Van Gien once again able to just keep Gomez at bay.
They banged wheels side to side, but luckily I think both of them have got away with it. And in fact, Drolsma's the one who's had to lift out of that and actually has lost a couple of places, Chris.
Yeah, Dobbelsberger came through there as well, and with the line into 10 should complete that move. They're side by side on the exit. Drolsma still trying to fight this one through as they round this long right-hander at turn 12, and Drolsma's able to reclaim that position. Or just about. Dobbelsberger's not finished yet. Where do you see racing side by side in this little stadium section of the lap, trying to go side by side into the chicane, but Dobbelsberger thinks better of it, and Drolsma lives to fight another day.
This is all music to the ears of Stephen Williams, who's now managed to pull a gap of 1.5 seconds to Van Gien. That's exactly what he needed. And speaking of which, up the front, Kyle Power, that gap to Henny is stable, so we don't need to worry about that for now. They kind of string themselves out at the front. This battle right near the back is fantastic, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. So for 7th place, it's all kicking off because Tim Ellis just managed to get up the inside of Dobbelsberger into turn 1 as well. There we see the action that's all kicking off behind Drolsma now. Here comes Colin Ward in the Rothmans Williams livery. He's currently in 10th place, trying to improve on his position, looking at the back of Dobbelsberger there. This is everything we were expecting in this F3 Cup round.
Ellis gets a little bit sideways on the exit. That made him check up a little bit, so it's keeping them nicely together, Chris. The tyres are going to start to go off towards the end, and we start to see them slipping around a bit more as well.
Yes, absolutely. Remember what Kyle said pre-qualifying. The car goes from understeering to oversteering as the race progresses and the tyres start to fade away. Oh, for 5th place we've had a change, I believe, or it's actually reversed. So I think it came up on the timing screen that Gomez had got past Van Gien, but I think what happened there is he went too deep into 10 and Van Gien was able to repass him there. So it's as you were once again between Van Gien and Gomez for 5th and 6th. Oh no, Gomez there goes for a spin on the exit of the chicane, parks on the apex of that final corner, and that is not what he needed at all. Here it is again. Oh, he gets out on that curb and just loses the back end.
Such a dangerous place to lose it as well. He was so lucky not to get collected. That's him back down to 14th, so that is a disaster in race 1, but that might well give him an advantageous place for race 2, so watch out for him in race 2, but that is such a shame for him.
Could well be. Battle for 7th kicking off once again as Tim Ellis gets past Alex Drumsma and into 6th place. There, it was a very tidy move into turn 1, it must be said. So Drumsma seems to be going backwards here, unfortunately. Drumsma 4th in the championship, he must be said, but 74 points adrift. We're not really looking at him as a contender realistically, although it's 160 points available per round, so we still have 2 lots of those to go. So anything's possible, and of course we still have the drop score to implement as well, which could really shake things up.
Drumsma tucked right up under the rear wing of Ellis here. I don't think he's going to get it done into the hairpin, but he might well try and position himself through the final sector to have a go. That being said, that was a big move under the braking there, but he didn't think better of it. He might well line himself up for the start-finish straight, Chris.
Good. Well, it is of course a very long start-finish straight, about 1 kilometre long, and plenty of slipstreaming available down there. As we get this fantastic shot on board with Drumsma as they... Oh, and Ellis deep into the chicane there. That's really going to compromise his exit and could give Drumsma a run at him down the straight, and an opportunity presents itself to reclaim that 6th place spot that Ellis took a lap ago, riding with Drumsma here as he's in the slipstream. Ellis moves over to the right hand side and cover off that inside line, so Drumsma's going to have to go the long way around, breaks very, very deep, going all the way around the outside, finds himself the high ground for turn 2. That is a textbook manoeuvre there from Alex Drumsma to reclaim 6th place.
I was stunning from Drumsma, showed him the dummy and then went right to the outside and just took the faster high line. What a move that was. And that's put Ellis actually under pressure from Dobbelsberger behind.
Yeah, Dobbelsberger had a little think there about going up the inside of turn 4. But there wasn't a way through. I think more just trying to... Oh, Drumsma getting very out of shape on the exit of 5. All that hard work to reclaim that 6th place spot, and he's almost undone it. But not enough momentum there for Ellis to get alongside him on the way into 7. But he's tucked right up behind the 56 red and black chrome car as Dobbelsberger for the 2nd lap in a row gets a little wide on the exit of turn 9. They're kicking up those cones. Got to be careful that you don't pick up the slowdown penalty. Drumsma defensive into 10, but nothing Ellis can do with that. Ellis has been a championship contender of seasons past and has pulled off some fantastic moves and victories in our Formula Renault and our F3 championship in the past, but this season just hasn't seemed to click for him. He's been towards the front, but not fighting for those podiums on a regular enough basis to mount a championship challenge. But we're seeing an absolute brilliant race from him today.
Certainly getting his elbows out, Chris.
Yep.
Back up the front, we've got Stephen Williams closing in on Kyle Power. He's less than a second behind now, so he's actually making some inroads on Kyle as he drops slightly back from Danny Henney. So there's the developing battle for the final point of the podium with only 4 laps to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Last spot on the podium, and Williams is reeling him in here. He was 2/10 quicker on that previous lap, so Power started to drop back from Henney there. And it must be said, Harrison out in the lead of this race has got this all under control with almost a 2-second gap now to Henney. But it doesn't seem to be completely over for the final spot on the podium as we're now on lap 8 of 12. And Stephen Williams is closing in on our championship leader, Kyle Power. And remember what Power was saying, the car starts to get a little bit looser towards the end of the race. Is Power starting to struggle with that a little bit earlier than Stephen Williams, I wonder?
Certainly riding on board with him now. We've seen him make a couple of mistakes, locked wheels. The pressure is starting to get to him, and as you say, the tyres are going off, so this is going to get very tasty as Kyle then again goes a little bit deep into the chicane.
It just looks a little loose, that car, doesn't it? And remember, this is a spec series in every sense of the word. They're all running the same setup, so that's why we talk about things like the slipstream being so crucial, because you can't set up your wing levels differently if you prefer, the straight line speed or the downforce. And Williams is getting a great tow down that straight there, really closing up the gap to just a couple of tenths of a second, but wasn't quite close enough to make a move down into turn 1. But as they round turn 3, you see in the turbulent air the struggle to keep the car flat, and especially as the tyres start to fade as well, they will start to need a little lift through that very fast and very long right-hander.
You might have just, for the eagle-eyed of you, just seen in the very background there, we've got Richard Spanners ready in 12th place. He's just been overtaken by the recovering Gregor Gomes. So he's made a good recovery drive up to 11th place, but Spanners has made made good on his grid spot. He's up to 12.
Certainly has. Gomez set the fastest lap of the race last time, round of 36.8, so he's certainly got the pace to be coming through the pack, and what could have been for Gregor Gomez had he not had that spin at the final chicane there. But he could well get himself back into the top 10 as he's closing in on Colin Ward there. But Spanners, as you mentioned, having a very good race there. The gold driver standings points leader. Of course, we have 3 standings in the 3 classes in this championship: platinum, gold and silver, depending on your experience and speed level. But I just draw your attention back to the battle for 3rd place as Power and Williams round that final corner once again and start lap 10. And Williams is an awful lot closer to the back of Carl Power's car this time. Now, we know Power doesn't tend to fight faster cars all that much, but he may well want to fight for this one. Still no move from Stephen Williams there into turn 1. I think Power just had to move over just a little bit just to say, not this lap, Stephen.
It's all building with 2 laps to go. Williams is right in his wheel tracks. This is going to get very, very tasty coming the final laps. Williams is quite...
This couldn't be coming at a better time for Stephen Williams. We've said in the past, maybe he doesn't have the ultimate pace to compete with Henny and Power on a regular basis. We've praised his consistency, which has put him in a great spot in the championship, but now he is showing that he has got that pace to compete with these two as he's pounding the back of Kyle Power's car at the moment.
Yeah, he didn't make the best of starts to the race, but he certainly made up for it, and as you say, Chris, he's going to give the championship leader a good run for his money.
Yeah, you have to wonder what would have happened if he hadn't been passed by Alex Van Gien at the start of the race. Would he have been able to mount this challenge earlier, and would he already be through at this point? Well, he's only got a couple of laps left to try and get the job done, and I wonder now, is Williams starting to struggle with the overheating rear tyres as well, because that car looks like it's just starting to slide about a little bit more. That gap opening up just a little bit more, and he went a little deep there into the chicane, and he's not as close as he was to the back of Power's car last time around. They come across the line to start the penultimate lap of the race.
Somebody who is very close is Alex Smith in 13th place, just on the back of Richard Spanners ready as they come down the start-finish straight. You might just be able to see them in the back of shot there.
Yeah, of course, Alex Smith was fighting for his first podium last time out at Silverstone in one of the reverse grid races. That ended up going to Andrew Sexton. They were fighting very hard for that spot indeed. I was definitely starting to see Alex Smith coming to fruition. Spanners pulling out all the stops to try and keep Smith at bay in the closing stage of this feature race, although Smith a little wide there at turn 3.
Yeah, definitely taking liberties with the track limits there, trying to get out of the wash of Spanners. Maybe he just understeered a little bit.
Oh, sorry, what has happened to Luca Harrison from the lead of the race? He's down in 4th place. He spun down at turn 7 and 8. He has lost the lead. A gift for Danny Henny on the penultimate lap of the race, who now leads the feature race. But what on earth happened to Luca Harrison there? He was leading this race so comfortably by a good couple of seconds, but he has dropped it and is not even going to finish on the podium now.
Just looking at a replay, Chris, it was through that fast left-right chicane, and he just lost the rear on the entrance. Probably due to those rear tyres overheating, as we were saying, it just looked like he was just playing with it, and it just swapped round on him, Chris. And that is a disaster for Luca Harrison.
Oh, he's gone again down at the chicane. He's not compensating for those cooked tyres at all, and he's lost even more places now. How many times have we seen this from Luca Harrison? He has such brilliant pace, but he just isn't able to bring it home sometimes. We saw even at the very first race of this season, he was on pole position, leading the way at Interlagos, dropped it on the opening lap, and here he's dropped it on the penultimate lap while leading comfortably. And I feel so bad for him, Chris, but that of course means now that this battle between Power and Williams is for second place, and Williams has caught back up to Power's car, so Henny comfortably out in front now. A gift for Danny Henny after being, well, it was checkmate between Harrison and Henny up until that point. But it looks like he's going to claim his fifth victory of the season now. But what can Stephen Williams do? Can he mount a very late attack on Kyle Power here? He's surely only got a couple of opportunities left to try and pass that car.
He has. It's down the end of this straight. I don't think he's close enough this time, Chris, so it might have to be into that desperate lunge into that chicane if he wants the move.
Well, you would know about that from our Simply Race experience, but surely it's going to rely on a mistake from Kyle Power at this point. And with those cooked rear tyres, it may well come for him in this slow and traction-sensitive final sector. But if there's anyone who can keep it on the road, it's Kyle Power, and I don't think it's going to happen for Stephen Williams. And through the chicane, it looks like it's been done very safely. But here comes Danny Henny, having been played second fiddle to Harrison all race long. A gift victory for him as he takes the victory in the feature race. Round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup goes to Danny Henny, his 5th victory of the season. Kyle Power by 1.3 seconds in second place there, and Stephen Williams completes the podium. And our top 3 in the championship finish, top 3 on the road. And what a start to the day.
And we've got Maverick in the commentary box as well. So, Danny, that was a bit of a gift right there at the end.
Yeah, that's probably the luckiest win I'll ever get. I must admit, I did have a wry smile because after we got through the first corner, I said to Lukey, you can have this, I'm quite happy. I'm in front of Kyle and Steve, I'll just sit here. And then about a lap or two later, I said, you can back off, Luca, you don't have to worry. And his reply was, no, I want to keep pushing. And unfortunately, that's what you get.
That's it. It might well have been the overheating rear tyres towards the end. It didn't look a comfortable second place, though, Danny, because Kyle and Stephen were breathing down your neck at points.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I was just trying to manage the pace to Kyle, and obviously I let him know early in the race, and I think Kyle was doing the same, and Steve was as well. But yeah, it got a bit treacherous towards the end of the race. I was quite happy. I was plodding a little bit, really, to look after the tyres, but the last 2 laps were treacherous. I nearly dropped it a few times, so fingers crossed being in the pack in the next race, it keeps them cooler for a bit.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a difficult one. We've seen errors and mistakes and crashes coming in the second race, so hope you keep your nose clean.
Yeah, so do I. See you later.
Well, that's exactly what the doctor ordered there. Just to run you through the rest of the grid. So Alex Van Gien, 4th, Dronsma coming out on top in that battle there. He got 5th place ahead of Ellis. Harrison came home 7th in the end. Dobbsberger was 8th. Gregory Gomez back into the top 10 after that spin at the final corner in 9th, and then Alex McBride in 10th place. And on reverse grid pole for the next race will be the man in 20th place, Jose Coy, or Jose O'Donnell, as he likes to be called, and then Peter Shilcock and Nicholas Carladal. That will be your top 3 for the next race. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the first of 2 reverse grid races. Welcome back to Barcelona for round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup, where we're about to get underway for the first of 2 reverse grid races, where we take the top 20 from that feature race, we flip them round, and then we send them racing again for another 10-lap race. Delighted to say that before that, we are joined by Richard Spanners-Ready in the commentary booth. Spanners, you
hello, Chris, and also hello, Chris. Yeah, it's a difficult one. This is probably the toughest track we've had on the calendar so far. It's the hardest one to follow on, so I always thought the feature race was going to be quite a sort of survival race where you're racing in the relative box more than wheel to wheel. But we have got the reverse grids coming up, which will be very different.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're starting 9th for that reverse grid race. What's your mentality going into this one?
So my aim with these always is a good result in the feature race and then a bit of glory. So if I'm starting from 9th with maybe a few slower guys behind me, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for the top 5. I think I'm 5th in the overall championship at the moment. The problem is that I don't have that last 3, 4, 5 tenths at the moment on this track. It's so difficult, especially the last sector.
Yeah, it's a very tricky one around there. You've got a bit of Mercedes pace around there, maybe.
Oh no, don't do that. That's an insult this season.
Oh, right. Well, we have a bit of time until we have the next grid ready. So while we've got you, obviously we've got the Monaco Grand Prix review coming up on Sunday. Is there anything you want to let the fans know about what's happening on Sunday?
Well, as we know, I've always been very anti-Monaco Grand Prix, especially this season. I think we've had a few street circuits in a row which don't always kick off, but I still have faith in this current update of F1 cars. I want to kind of get Monaco out of the way so that we can see what the cars are like in Baku, in Montreal, in Hungaroring, in Paul Ricard. I want to get the season underway properly. I feel like this has got a 2012 vibe at the moment, and Monaco's not going to help that situation. So I really don't think we know where the F1 season is. But as far as the Monaco review goes, I am always insistent that it's going to be a boring race. Nothing's going to happen on the Sunday. One of these years I'm going to be wrong, and rain is the only thing I think that can probably make me wrong.
Oh, well, looking at the forecast, we may well get that wish.
May get a bit of rain. But back to this, guys. This is so close and competitive. I think the top 3 in the championship all finished 1, 2, 3 in that last race, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. So you won't have seen it, but Harrison was out front by 2 seconds. Very comfortably ahead, but continued to push and dropped it.
Do you know what, Luca? He's a young man. He's young, dumb, and full of pace, and and he should be winning this championship. He's probably, him and Greg are the fastest guys on track. But when you look at the points, it's Henny, it's Power. Who's third?
Williams.
Williams. It's the old heads that are really prevailing here, especially in the last 4 to 5 laps. The rears of these cars go. So the last 3 to 4 laps, it's not cruising home, it's fighting every corner.
Yeah. Of course, we have another teenage racer in the form of Kyle Power's nephew, Luke.
Scrappy Power. That's
Scrappy Power. Did you get a chance to see him in action during that race?
Yeah, absolutely. So he was behind me, he was involved in an incident, but we've had lots of practice sessions together, and he's very quick. There's a raw talent. Again, I would say there is a haste of that comes with youth. He should be soundly beating me every race and be up with the likes of Kyle and Greg and Danny. But at the moment, no, he's not there yet, and he's just got to settle down, I think, on the first few laps.
Well, he's certainly got a good teacher in the form of Kyle there, so no doubt that he will come good at some point. Of course, we're racing on the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, where Formula One was just 5 days ago.
And I love that. I love the fact that we've sat and enjoyed the Grand Prix, and then we're here lapping it in single seaters. And I'm in VR at the moment as well, but even the guys on triples and single screens, to just take that F1 fan experience and then take it on track in competition form is just wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Spanners, we'll let you go because we're going to be going to the grid very shortly. Good luck.
Wish me luck. I'm going to win.
Race.
I'm going to win.
All right, boisterous talk as always. Have fun out there, mate. So just under 2 minutes until we go to the grid. Sorry, Chris.
So it's always great to hear from Spanners. He made some really good progress in that first race. You know, he started in the lower echelons of the 20s, and he made it up to... where did he make it up to in the end? Because it was 14th, I think it was, in the end. And that's really good progress for him, and he kept his nose clean. I think that's going to be the key to this second race.
It was 11th, so he's just starting just inside the top 10 for this next race. What I love about bringing Spanners into this is because he's so passionate about this project, and you know, as he should be, is the brainchild of it, and bringing Richard Molden and Sam Watley in to help with the adminning of it. And the championship would not be what it was without Spanner's input and trying to make it what it was, and you know, his idea for the broadcast as well. It's the reason you and me are here, Chris, and why Steve, who does such an amazing job with the broadcast and all these graphics that you see, he controls the direction of the cameras and everything that comes up, all the feature stuff that you see in the build-up that we do during the practice sessions as well before qualifying. And we just love doing it.
Absolutely, whether it's simulated or real, we absolutely love commentating. It's a joy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, speaking of real, the karting that we had at Ello Park. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the finished product on that. And we were commentating side by side once again, but this time in person.
Absolutely. It was good to be in the flesh and actually seeing these guys. The people who were always up at the front in the F3 Cup tended to be towards the front in the real stuff. So there's definite raw talent there, Chris.
Yes, it wasn't let's say a direct translation to the real racetrack, but certainly, you know, the A final was full of familiar names from this championship. Well, here we are then on the grid for the first of two reverse grid races. It'll be slightly shorter than the feature race, 10 laps rather than 12, and it will be Jose O'Donnell starting on pole position ahead of Peter Shilcock and Nicholas Carladal. Luke Power on his F3 Cup debut starts in 4th place there with the black and yellow car. Mark Greenhow, Richard Molden, Lucas Raskovitz, Alex Smith, Richard Spanners Ready and Colin Ward. That is your top 10 for this reverse grid race. Of course, Danny Henney, Kyle Power and Stephen Williams starting at the back of the top 20 after finishing on the podium in the feature race. So another long run down into turn 1. The red lights are on, and the first sprint race for round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup gets going now, and it is a clean start for Jose O'Donnell. Peter Shilcock having to cover the line slightly, because here comes Nicholas Carladal trying to get around the outside as well there in that baby blue car on the outside. Looks like Shilcock though has found the inside line for turn 1, and he pushes O'Donnell out wide. O'Donnell rejoins the circuit there in 2nd place, about to get done by Mark Greenhow on the inside there in orange and white. So Shilcock leads, then it's Mark Greenhow. O'Donnell our pole sitter down into 3rd. There goes Richard Molden in the lime green car getting down the inside there. He's in 5th place trying to get past Nicholas Carladal into turn 4, but actually has Luke Power on his outside. Power will have the inside line down into turn 5, and he makes up that place. Greenhow though in 2nd place, now going for the lead as Shilcock got a very poor run out of turn 5 there. Greenhow will have the line down into turn 7, and Mark Greenhow takes the lead of the race.
Great move there from Greenhow. This is fantastic racing. He's got to get that car ahead of everybody else and make a little bit of a gap, because there'll be the fast guys coming through. Speaking of which, Henney and some of those guys...
Greenhow's dropped it. Sorry, Chris, but Greenhow from the lead of the race, under braking down at turn 10. Dropped it under braking. Here we can see the replay of it. We were on board with O'Donnell there, who was trying to get round the outside there of Shilcock, and Shilcock there actually found his way through. And I'll tell you what, there's been absolute chaos in front of them. So as Shilcock still leads, but Luke Power now in 2nd place as they exit the chicane, and Luke Power is right underneath Shilcock's rear wing. He's going to go for the lead down the straight. He pulls out of the slipstream. He goes to the right-hand side. He will have the inside line by the time they get down towards turn 1. It's side by side for the lead of the race at the start of lap 2. Luke Power down the inside, and on his F3 Cup debut, leads in the sprint race. Well, we were talking about the speed he has, and he's proving it absolutely at the moment. And with Kyle Power as his uncle, he will definitely have a few wise words been whispered into his ear before tonight. So Peter Shilcock down into second place, Nicholas Carladal in third at the moment. So Jose O'Donnell, having tried to take second place at turn 10 last time around, now finds himself in fourth place with Gregory Gomez up in fifth place at the moment. He's had a cracking start to this race, and we know he's very, very fast. Watch out for him towards the end of the race. He's still right in this pack. There's a bit of a gap building to Power up at the front of the field, but Gregory Gomez is very rapidly going to start coming through the field here. I think there is in fifth place at the moment, and you can see going down the inside now on Jose O'Donnell into turn 10, picks up another spot there. He's into fourth place already. And just in the background there, we can see Spanners Ready in sixth place with Luca Harrison and Danny Henney for close company. So they've come through the pack very quickly indeed. But let's keep an eye on Gomez's progress, because he's about to find himself on the podium. Maybe Carladal very wide into the chicane there. Gomez doesn't need a second invitation. He's already through before they get onto the start-finish straight. Was down the inside at that final corner and is already up into third place. And Luke Power up at the front of the field sets the fastest lap of the race, the gap up to 1.6. So Gomez needs to start making moves, and making them now. You just saw Harrison there in the background making a move on Spanners. He's up into sixth place, coming through the field nicely. But these guys need to get on it now. And Gomez already looking at the back of second place there. And they need to do it before Power builds too much of a gap out front.
One of the Powers having an excellent race here, but Kyle, unfortunately for him, trying to make his way through the pack, had an incident into turn 1 a couple of laps ago and turned him round, so he is languishing back down in 19th place while his nephew is trying to run away at the front.
Well, that is going to have massive implications in terms of the championship, with Henney right up there, already well inside the top 10, and Stephen Williams running in 13th place at the moment as well. It's just not what Power needed at all. But let's keep an eye on the action up at the front of the field. Gomez with a great run out of turn 9. Down the inside he goes down at turn 10. Gets it stopped just about, locking up some wheels there, but no recoil from Peter Shilcock, and Gomez in second place. The gap 2.7 seconds to Luke Power at the front of the field. So let's see what the raw pace is now. They've both got clean air in front of them. Meanwhile, Luca Harrison in sixth place. He got past Spanners at the start of the lap, and he's now trying to get through this pack as well. And I tell you, that is going to be one angry, feisty Luca Harrison at the wheel of that car. Luke Power setting another fastest lap at the front of the field of 37.4. Here comes Harrison though. So O'Donnell going defensive. Harrison just squeezing through the gap there on the outside. You'll have to go the long way round, not run into the back of Carladal as well, but easy does it for Harrison, and he secures fifth place there, past O'Donnell and into fifth place there. And already making a move on Carladal for fourth place as well. No patience in that 333 car at the moment as he dived up the inside of turn 4, and Carladal still was just alongside before turn 5 there, but Harrison able to get it done under braking round the outside. So that puts Harrison up into fourth place already, and yeah, don't count him out for maybe a redemption victory if he can close down the gap to Power and Gomez up front once he clears Peter Shilcock in front of him. Henney not quite able to get through the pack quite as quickly. He's still behind O'Donnell there. He's in 7th place at the moment. But here's Harrison again, riding on board with the nose cam. A little lock up from Shilcock in front of him. And Harrison will need no second invitation to try and get past that number 78 car. He's going to have to wait for the front straight to do it, though. There's going to be no way through here in this tight and twisty end of the lap. You see there, Shilcock getting very out of shape into the chicane, and this is going to be easy pickings for Luke Harrison, I think, as he is nose to tail with Shilcock as they cross the start-finish line, and he'll have the move done by the time they get down into turn 1. So Harrison now into the podium placings, lap 5 of 10. We're about to reach the halfway mark. Henney making a move down the inside as well into 5th place, but Harrison up into the podium placings. And there is 5 seconds covering the top 3 Grigore Gomez in second place at the fastest lap of the race last time around. 36.8 was half a second quicker than Luke Power. The gap already down to 2 seconds with half the race remaining. Let's see what Harrison has got in store for them as well. It was a 37.7 last time around, but he was making moves and held up behind Shilcock as well. So he may well still have a run at the leaders by the checkered flag. Here is Luke Power up at the lead of the race though.
Just checking in with the championship leaders. So we have Danny Henney in 5th place. Stephen Williams in 10th, just behind Rich Molden and Spanners Ready. There's a good little battle just about to develop there. But crucially, Kyle Power in 26th place. So he's got to make up 6 places before he can get anywhere near that reverse grid pole. It's going to be a tough ask, Chris.
Now, Henney now into 4th place there as he dispatches of Peter Shilcock. Just an update on the timing, actually. I believe Kyle Power is in that 20th spot now. Or it may well be 19th now, actually, as I believe that was Dobbertsberger, who's just pirouetted down at the hairpin. So he has found himself in the zone for the reverse grid pole. That would actually put him 2nd on the grid at the moment, but he's in a place where he can start towards the front for the next race. So he does at least have a fighting chance at a good result in race 3, but this is certainly not the way he wanted things to go in this one.
Absolutely, and I said it was going to be a tough ask. Well, you know, if anybody can do it, it's Kyle. My timing stream occasionally looks a bit like a Christmas tree, so apologies for the error there.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, they do take a while to update sometimes. The timing screens a very useful feature, but sometimes a little bit finicky for us in the commentary booth. So 6 seconds covers the top 4 at the moment, and Harrison's pace certainly very good at the moment. He just set his best lap last time around, a 36.9, although I think was still a little bit slower than Gomez on that last lap. I don't actually have Gomez's lap time for the last lap, but I can confirm that lead gap is coming down. 1.4 seconds is the lead gap between Luke Power and Grigore Gomez.
One little battle that is raging currently, Chris, is Stephen Williams putting pressure on O'Donnell, who has just been overtaken by Spanners Ready. So this is a little one that's just going to come down the start-finish rate fairly shortly. Williams hopefully going to make some places up to try and keep that gap to Henney as low as possible.
Yes, Williams there in 9th place, trying to come through the pack as well. Just behind O'Donnell there, Spanners just in front of him. Williams looks like he's going to make a move here as he's tucked right up behind the rear wing, pulls out of the slipstream. And this should be another fairly simple move down into turn 1. And yeah, he's definitely losing points to Henney here. Henney is in a great position in terms of the championship. Gifted the win in the feature race and is currently the leader of our title protagonist at the moment in 4th place, with Williams now up in 8th place and Power still coming through the field at the rear end of that top 20. I think he's in 18th place at the moment. So it's advantage Henney at the moment, 2nd in the championship going into this one. As it stands, will be taking the championship lead. But of course, we still have to apply the drop score after this round, so it could still shake things up in terms of the championship. In terms of that drop score, you get 1 drop round going into this one, because we know that people's schedules are not always perfect, so we give them an opportunity to miss a race. And so people like Alexander Dobbertsberger, for example, who has missed a race, down in 6th place in the standings, 97 points off the lead, but once we apply that drop score, could suddenly find himself much higher in the championship because he's not losing any points, whereas the likes of Power, Henney and Williams will be in comparison. So yeah, the consistency, that's all going to be very, very important when we apply the drop score after this race. Lead gap now under 1 second, just 3/4 of a second now separating Luke Power from Grigore Gomez at the front of the field. There's Spanners in 6th place there, around in that final corner. He's having a very good race indeed, and will certainly be targeting the back of Nicholas Carladal's car in the closing stages of this race. We're now on lap 8 of 10, and I think 5th place will be a maximum there for Spanners. There's Stephen Williams making up another place as well, past Peter Shilcock into 7th place. Maybe Spanners needs to keep an eye on his mirrors as well, because surely Williams is going to be coming through the pack soon as well. And Gregorio Gomez now in second place, right up with Luke Power here. Now this is going to be a real test of Luke Power's skill, patience and discipline, it must be said. We know his uncle Kyle very well, panelist on the show and one of the finest racers in our little pool of drivers. And how much of that wisdom has Luke been able to soak up there as we're on board with Gomez down the back straight. Just a couple of tenths separate them now for the lead of the race. Down towards turn 10 we go. No way through there though. And of course, if these guys start to squabble, Luca Harrison is 2.6 seconds behind them and will be right on the back of them if they start to squabble too much. But we're coming up to the penultimate lap of the race now, so we're starting to run out of opportunities. It looks like it could be between Power and Gomez, depending on how this battle goes. This is going to be Gomez's first opportunity to take the lead of the race as they cross the stripe now to start lap 9, and Power is immediately moving over to the right hand side of the track. That is a very firm, you're not coming through here, now trying to break the toe as he moves back over to the left. Gomez goes for the outside line, is not going to brave it out around the outside, goes for the undercut, but there's not quite enough momentum for him to get alongside in turn 2. Around turn 3, still no way through there.
Here Gomez hitting the limiter there. It was absolutely maxed out on it. That was great defence there from Power. Got to be careful of the double move though. He goes a little bit wide here. That gives Gomez a tighter line, but there's no way through here, Chris.
No, absolutely not. Oh, a lock up though. He's gone wide, and that gives Gomez an opportunity to draw alongside for the lead of the race. Gomez will have the line down into turn 7, but thinks better of it. Power just able to hold off Gomez there, but that was very close indeed. He'll have another opportunity now down into turn 10. Gomez sticks to the rear of Power's car as they go around turn 9. Power again defensive, this time into the hairpin at turn 10. Gomez going to try and get the undercut once again. Surely there's no way through though in this section of the track. He's going to have to wait all the way down to the start-finish straight once again. And Gomez, it's going to come down to the final lap, this one, that is for sure. Power a little wide again. Gomez really starting to put the pressure on Luke Power. Now remember, just 14 years of age, this kid, and he is certainly been thrown into the deep end on his F3 Cup debut. And again, defensive towards the inside straight away. Gomez going for the slipstream, riding right with him down the start-finish straight. He may well have it done before they even get to turn 1. Look at the speed he's got down the straight, side by side towards turn 1 we go. Power with the line once again, but Gomez ran the outside, and on the final lap of the race, Gregorio Gomez hits the front.
Beautiful there from Gomez. He had the outside, the favoured outside line. He could just sweep across Power. Power had to lift off because he was on the inside, had a tighter line. So that's a move for the lead, a well-deserved victory here for Gomez.
No, absolutely. We've seen the pace he's had all week, and it's finally coming together for him. It certainly didn't in qualifying, starting all the way down in 10th place and then a spin in the feature race. Well, he's certainly made up for that now as he is leading on the last lap of this sprint race. And Luke Power, well, now he's got a real challenge because Harrison is he's less than half a second behind him now. As they exit turn 9, Harrison might well have a last gasp dive in the final sector of track here. We know he's feeling punchy, he feels robbed of that feature race victory. Little lock up there from Power, but surely if he keeps it neat and tidy through this final sector of track, there's going to be no way for Harrison to come through. Either way, Power looks set to finish on the podium in his F3 Cup debut.
Both cars looking very squirrel on the back end. Here he comes, going to make that lunge. No, there's no way through. He's covered the apex.
Yeah, just got to keep it neat and tidy through this chicane. But meanwhile, here comes Gregorio Gomez round that final corner, takes the victory in the sprint race at Barcelona, round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. Sprint race 1 goes to Gregorio Gomez. A fantastic drive from him. Luke Power, on his debut in this championship, finishes in second place after a stout defence of that lead, and Luca Harrison coming through the field there finishes in third place. Danny Henney from 20th on the grid finishes in 4th, and Stephen Williams, his title rival, finishing in 5th place there. Nicholas Carladal, great result for him, in 6th place. Richard Spanners ready in 7th. Jose O'Donnell starts in 8th, finishes in 8th. Peter Shilcock and Richard Molden, your top 10. Well, I believe Chris is going to find our race winner there. Hopefully we'll bring someone in to the commentary booth. In the meantime, I can let you know that Alexander Dobbelsberger, he did have a spin in that race, but in a way a little bit of fortune has fallen on him there, as he will start on reverse grid pole for the next one. Kyle Power, meanwhile, did finish in 15th, so he also has a good starting position for the next race. Chris, who have you managed to find for us?
I think I managed to find our race winner with a fantastic move towards the end. Gregor, how did that go for you?
Yeah, that was a good race, finally. I was kind of trying to take it slow and come back, take like half a second a lap. The start of the race went very well. I went through the field way faster than I expected. And then it was just getting lap after lap. And then the problem is my pace is kind of in the last sector, and it's really hard to follow in that last sector. So it was quite hard to pass. And after 2 laps, I managed to stay like 0.2 the last corner. And once you're there, it's basically moved on as long as you don't mess up turn 1. So basically perfect race, which I'm very happy with.
It was a fantastic race and a fantastic move to set up the victory. So well done, Gregor. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, his first victory in the F3 Cup. Forgot to mention that. I mean, I almost felt wrong thinking about it, but of course he only has 1 podium to his name so far, and that is his first victory. So, well, massive congratulations to Gregorio Gomez, and of course to Luke Power as well, second in only his second race and his first round in this championship. Just to let you know, yeah, so Kyle Power 15th there. Will be on the recovery in race 3, but it will be Alexander Dobbelsberger and Alex Van Gien starting on the front row of the grid for our final race of the night. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back. Welcome back to Barcelona, where we are about to get underway for the final race of the night, Sprint Race 2, which will be another top 20 reverse grid race, where we will have Alexander Dobbelsberger starting on reverse grid pole. He had a spin in race 2, but luckily has found himself on reverse grid pole for this one. And exactly where he started for race 3 at Silverstone, actually, and he absolutely dominated. And he will have Alex Van Gien starting alongside him as well. And of course, we've got to keep an eye out for Kyle Power, who will be starting in 6th place, I believe, having finished 15th in race 2. Bit of a difficult race for him, but he's got an opportunity to make up some points with Danny Henney starting a bit further down in the field after finishing 4th. Stephen Williams will be just in front of him as well. He finished 5th in that last race, so two of the title protagonists starting further down in the field. Power will be starting a little bit further out. But of course, the Power we were focusing on in that race was Luke Power, the man just coming out of the pits now in that black and white number 75 car. This is his debut in the series and managed to finish 2nd after fighting Gregory Gomez for the lead. There he is out on track now in this little warm-up before we go to the grid for race 3. And what a fantastic drive it was from him. Very composed. Just 14 years of age, and we were talking about composure with young Luke Harrison, the feature race, dropping the car from a very comfortable lead on the penultimate lap of the feature race, but no such dramas for Luke Power, and he became the 25th different podium finisher in the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. Of course, after Andrew Sexton claimed his first podium at Silverstone as well, and of course we had Gregory Gomez scoring his first victory in the championship as well, and actually became the 13th different winner. So he joins Alex Van Gien, Brian Boomsma, Alex Strumsma, Dorian Tabachnik, Basso, Luca Harrison, Tim Ellis, Danny Henney, Stephen Williams, Alexander Dobbelsberger, David Hatton and Kyle Power as race winners in this championship. There is Danny Henney, the man surely leading the championship at this point, having outscored Kyle in the first 2 races. That last race quite considerably so, and just what the doctor ordered. It's so far, for all the bad luck he's had so far this season, it's been a very good day for Danny Henney so far, but I won't speak too soon because, of course, we've still got another 10-lap race still to run and anything can happen. But certainly it seems to be the Henney that we are used to seeing. Comes down the start-finish straight. Stephen Williams putting in a very good lap there into the 36s in this warm-up session while we prep for the grid for race 3. Hopefully before we go to the grid we'll be able to bring you Alex Van Gien. We have a few minutes until the grid, so hopefully we'll be able to bring you Alex Van Gien as he starts on the front row for this one, and we know he is one of the most robust defenders in this championship, and I'm sure Alexander Dobbelsberger, he'll be very aware of that and hoping that Van Gien holds up the pack for him, and so he can build a gap. He was absolutely dominant in race 3 at Silverstone and claimed his first victory of the season, and so he'll definitely be hoping for a repeat in this one.
So Chris, I've returned from the pit lane roving, trying to scrabble anybody I can. Well, I've got Rich Mulden from Race Control.
Oh,
Rich,
great.
What's it been like today?
Well, I'm sorry that you've had to resort to me, but it's been actually, it's been good. I mean, obviously I do the hybrid roles of looking after race control and also actually getting to race. Michael Massey's jealous, he doesn't get to race as well as race control. But it's actually been surprisingly clean. The practices were crashy, to say the least. And, we've got a good bunch of drivers here. We race with each other a lot. Everybody knows kind of how everybody does. So, it's been very, very close, as you've probably seen in the commentary. Very, very close, but surprisingly clean so far.
It has. So what lap are we going to get a safety car in race 3 then?
You might be referring to a little bit of fat fingering on my part in the last round where, unfortunately I may have nudged the wrong button. So no, the button has been moved to a completely different area this time. So
So we've got a scenario where Lewis Hamilton's button on the steering wheel for the brake magic got moved after his little Baku incident.
Yeah, exactly. So sort of the same principle has gone on here, but obviously, I think Lewis actually would quite like a button that triggers the safety car. He might have done that last weekend.
Yes, absolutely. Far too many commenters took that seriously, and I'm gonna mildly call them out here, but of course, the safety car did provide a fair bit of drama for us and a great end to that Silverstone race. You are going to be doing a little lap experience of Zandvoort next week. Are you excited for that?
I am. Well, the wife booked a trip to a Centre Parks, and I said, well, where in the Netherlands is the Centre Parks? Oh, Zandvoort. I went, I wonder how close that is to the circuit. And it's literally next door, so I'm going to get to go and drive a few cars. Probably very, very, very slowly, because sim racing is a little bit less terrifying than driving a real sim.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what, for the viewers at home, we take the mick with Rich a little bit because he's been on a fair few holidays lately. But in all seriousness, the effort that you and Sam put into this championship, it is well deserved.
Well, it's not as much as the effort I put into booking nice holidays, but yeah. So, well, look, I don't know if the discipline is going to be retained in race 3. Normally it goes a little bit crazier in race 3, but I'm going to need you to let me go now because it's time to advance to the race.
Great. Well, fantastic. Thank you for joining us in the commentary box. Rich, we know you're busy enough as it is with driving and race control, so we appreciate you taking the time, and we will see you soon.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Christus.
Richard Molden, very easily spotted with that chrome green number 69 car. And we will, as he said, be going to the race 3 grid very shortly, and the final championship race of the night. And of course, the final chance to bag those extra points and affect which round each driver is going to be dropping ahead of the finale in a few weeks' time. Only one round remains after this race in the championship, and every single point matters, as we really are into crunch time now for this championship. And we talked about it being a close fought battle last season, but this season has been something else entirely. So on the grid then for race 3, the second of the reverse grid races and the final of the night. And it will be car number 21, Alexander Dobbelsberger in black and white with the yellow tip nose on pole position alongside Alex Van Gien. New colours for him, that chromed green car, now number 4 on the front row of the grid. EJ Anderson will start at the head of the second row, ahead of Taro Tylus there. You'll be able to spot him also in black and white. Then Tim Ellis and Kyle Power starting in the top 6. Wingfield Ward, Johnsma and McBride, as we are now underway for the final race of the night. And it's not been a good start at all for Alexander Dobbelsberger. He's being absolutely swarmed at the front of the field as Anderson and Van Gien go either side of him. It is Van Gien who takes the lead of the race inside of turn 1. Anderson going around the outside there in the silver car. He takes second place away from Dobbelsberger, but Alex Van Gien hits the front straight away. Dobbelsberger trying to get back up the inside now of Anderson to try and get second place back. Taro Tylus filtering their powers, made up a place in 5th as well. Dobbelsberger down the inside he goes. They're going to be side by side through turn 4. No Magnussen Hamilton contact there though. They both survive and make their way down towards turn 5. Still they have not broken formation though, and Anderson is having absolutely none of Dobbelsberger's antics. Still they are side by side as they exit turn 5, locking brakes on the way into the corner there. As they reach the bottom of the hill, Dobbelsberger finally gets the move done. And actually going wide there was Taro Tylus. He had to skip across the gravel and just chops the nose of Kyle Power there, who just about made it through cleanly. Power trying to come through now. Down on the inside he goes towards turn 10. He's got Ellis right alongside him as well. Power down the inside. Careful does it now. Power's got to be making up points for the championship after a very difficult race too. But he gets through cleanly and up into 3rd place already. Ellis now trying to get around the outside of Anderson as well.
All the title protagonists getting through there quickly. Kyle Power, that was crucial for him not to get mixed up in any lap 1 antics.
It certainly was. So as Van Gien rounds the final corner to complete lap 1, he has a 1.5 second lead over Alexander Dobbelsberger, who has just half a second over Kyle Power. In the top 3, EJ Anderson still just holding on to that 4th place spot at the moment. Then it's Ellis, Ward, Joneswell, Wingfield, Henny and Williams who have come up from the rear of the field and into the top 10 already. That is not really what Kyle Power wants to hear.
It's not, and Power's got 2 very quick guys in front of him, Dobbelsberger and Van Gien. I suspect they will close up a little bit through the race, so it's going to be fascinating to see. Will Kyle get Dobbelsberger before they catch up to Van Gien?
Well, Alexander Dobbelsberger started on reverse grid pole at Silverstone for race 3 and absolutely dominated, but he's had a very difficult start to the race here. Just not a good getaway at all for him, and was swarmed either side by Anderson and Van Gien. And we know that Van Gien is one of the most robust defenders in this championship. He will not give up that lead lightly.
He won't. And looking a bit further back, Danny Henny's now made it up to 8th place. He's got Drillsman just in front of him, and the cork in the bottle is Colin Ward.
Seems to be, we see Ellis making up places as well, but Henny trying to navigate the traffic now as Drillsman went down the inside of Ward there. That was a little tasty opportunistic move there, as I think Ward was locking up his brakes and round the outside of 12 and gets the move done. So that is Drillsman up into 6th place. Henny trying to take advantage of that. But he won't be able to in this tight, twisty section of the track. He's going to have to wait until they get down to turn 1 before he can do anything about it.
You won't have to wait long, though, as Ward got checked up in the chicane as he clattered the curbs. So here he goes down the inside, Chris.
Yep, he's going for it now already. And he's got to watch out for James Wingfield there, and for Spanners coming out of the pit lane as well. My goodness me. That all got very, very tight down into turn 1, but they've all survived just about. But there's Henny trying to get around the outside of Ward there. They're side by side in turn 3. James Wingfield waiting in the wings as well on his return to the championship as well. But Henny looks like he'll have the inside line for 4 here, and Ward, I don't think he's going to fight this one all that much. So there Henny goes into 7th place there. Ward down to 8th. And I'll tell you what, Drillsman there in 6th place has very quickly found himself on the back of EJ Anderson. He was practically pushing him under braking through 7 and 8. And actually they're already side by side as Anderson had a terrible run out the corner. Drillsman's trying to go around the outside of turn 9. That is very brave indeed. Drillsman with the momentum, that of course will give him the line into turn 10 as well. He doesn't need it because he's already pulled clear by the time they get on the anchors for that hairpin, and that of course is allowing Danny Henny to get right on the back of these guys already. So Jones now up into 5th place.
Very brave move there. You never see them going side by side into turn 5. Gave him lots of room and he used all of the curb, kept the momentum. That was fantastic.
Yep, absolutely. Just in front of them, Ellis is running on his own there in 4th place, up at the front of the field. It's starting to close up a little bit. Van Gien was a little bit slower than Dobbelsberger last time around. The gap down to 1 second. Kyle Power now just half a second behind Alexander Dobbelsberger there in 3rd place, but no way through for the pre-event championship leader on that occasion. So let's turn our sights back to Danny Henny, now in 6th place, as he has got past Anderson into the first corner there, and will have his sights set on Alex Joneswell. And Stephen Williams not quite coming through the pack quite as quickly. He's down in 10th place, still behind Ward and Wingfield there. We can just see in the back of shot there. Here he is in the Aston Martin coloured car, getting caught right up behind James Wingfield there in that familiar red and yellow car. Anyone who's seen the Enduros we've been running during this season, as Williams pops up the inside there. Oh no, makes contact with Williams, with James Wingfield, and that is not what he needed at all. One of the championship contenders in strife down at turn 7. It was down the inside, contact was made, and Williams in the gravel, and it looks like he has got going again, but how much damage has he got on that car? Oh, up at the front of the field, it's closed right up. It has closed right up. We've got 3 for the lead now as Van Gien, maybe he's made a mistake somewhere on this lap, but Dobbelsberger's right with him now, and it looks like we could have a challenge for the lead down into turn 1. Van Gien comes across the line now to start lap 5 of 10. We're reaching the halfway mark in the final race of the night. And look at those 3 cars fighting for the lead. Tim Ellis sets the fastest lap of the race there in 4th place, but who is going to come out on top of this one? We've got 3 fighting for the lead, and Van Gien going wide there into turn 1. We've got the back marker to navigate, and Van Gien is getting caught up here. Dobbelsberger trying to get around the outside of turn 3. Look how close they are now, though. They're absolutely glued together, these 3 cars. Van Gien to the inside of turn 4. Dobbelsberger trying to go the long way around. Got to watch out for Kyle Power, though, on the inside as well. Dobbelsberger trying to get the run out of the corner. He draws alongside towards turn 5, but Van Gien still with the line. This is what Alex Van Gien does best, defending that position, and when it's for the lead, he will do it better than ever.
These guys have got to be so careful. They're so close to each other. Kyle had to check up as Dobbelsberger chopped across his nose to get a better line of the run on Van Gien. Here they come to the next straight. There's going to be a lunge here from Kyle, I reckon, into the chicane.
Yeah, Dobbelsberger didn't have the best of run, and which way is he going to go? One way and then the other. Dobbelsberger to the inside. I thought Power was going to have a run at second, but it was Dobbelsberger who lunged down at turn 10. Absolutely caught Van Gien unawares. Brilliant driving, and Dobbelsberger takes the lead. Now, what has Kyle Power got against Van Gien? Look at Tim Ellis closing up as well. He's in 4th place. He's now right on the back of this battle as well. We've now got 4 cars fighting for the lead, and I would dare say that Power needs to make this move into turn 1, because I think Dobbelsberger and Power have the ultimate pace over Van Gien. Looking at the lap times in the early stages of this race, it's going to be difficult because Van Gien has got just as much of a slipstream as Power does. He's trying to come back at Dobbelsberger for the lead. Surely he won't be lunging up the inside of turn 1. He certainly thought about it. Dobbelsberger had to give him some space, and here comes Kyle Power now with the momentum. He's surely not going to go around the outside of turn 3. He's trying it. They are absolutely neck and neck, wheel to wheel. 2 of the top panelists from the show going wheel to wheel round turn 3. Power around the outside of turn 4. Van Gien is going to leave him no quarter, and Power will expect nothing less from him, but they are still neck and neck down towards turn 5. Power finally finds that inside line and takes 2nd place away from Van Gien, but he's got to be careful because surely Van Gien is thinking about coming back at him.
There was nothing but a sheet of paper between them at points there. I think Alex has got to be a bit careful behind him for Ellis. So while he'd be looking forward, could we see a double slipstream here from Ellis to take Van Gien?
Could well do. This is crucial for Power because Dobbelsberger's only been able to build up half a second in that lap he was building. Here comes Ellis down the inside. Carbon copy of what Dobbelsberger did last time round, but this time Van Gien is wise to the move and is able to keep the momentum round the outside and hangs on to 3rd place. And there is Alex Dronsma joining the back of this train, and Danny Henney as well. It's all concertinaing up in the closing stages of this final race of the night. Crucially, Power is through into 2nd place and is now on the back of Dobbelsberger once again. Van Gien not the best run out of the chicane there, dropping back from that top 2 now. Got to be careful for Ellis and Dronsma, but for the top 2, here is Power trying to go for the lead for the first time tonight. He has got a great toe. Look at the speed he's gaining on Dobbelsberger down the straight. Dobbelsberger to the inside. Power's going to have to go the long way around. Very good on the brakes there was Power, and there is nothing Dobbelsberger can do to stop Power as he found the line into turn 2, but coming back at him now through the right-hander, and they're wheel to wheel once again. Power managed to make this work last time around against Van Gien, and this time he makes it work against Dobbelsberger. Cuts across the nose to claim the line for turn 4. Dobbelsberger's not through yet, trying to get around the outside now of the right-hander, but Power having absolutely none of it. Kyle Power takes the lead.
There's barely a moment to breathe. Just behind them, Van Gien was defending very heavily. Dobbelsberger putting Kyle Power under more pressure, Chris.
Absolutely, he's not finished yet, but Dobbelsberger just kicking the back end out there as they went through turns 7 and 8. Power's surely got to pull the pin now and just go for broke and try and build this gap as quickly as possible. Van Gien, I'm sure, is going to put up an absolute stout defence for that podium and hold up the likes of Ellis, Dronsma and Henney. So maybe we are just looking at Power and Dobbelsberger for the win. And could we see 2 Powers winning in the same night in back-to-back races? It's certainly looking that way at the moment as we're approaching the end of lap 7 of 10. And Power, it looks like he's just starting to build that gap now to Dobbelsberger, just keeping it neat and tidy, exactly what he needs to do. But Dobbelsberger, he is in striking distance here. He's only half a second back, so Power has to watch his mirrors. Well, an absolutely brilliant string of cars making their way down towards turn 1. There goes Henny in 6th place there, trying to get up on the inside of Alex Jonesma down towards turn 1, and Henny makes up a place there. And so he's making his way through, and Ellis trying to get up on the inside of Van Gien there for 3rd place. We just saw it in the fronter shot there, and he has done. That is brilliant, bold stuff, but Van Gien's coming back at him down the inside of turn 4. This is for the final spot on the podium, and Van Gien getting his elbows out, pulling out every trick in the book he can to try and hang on to a place on the podium. But Ellis, it's gone deep into turn 5. It looked like he got the move done, but I think Van Gien will be able to come back at him down this straight. Oh, not quite. Ellis just had enough momentum there to hang on. Well, a little wide though through 7 and 8. Is that going to cost him momentum up the hill? Could Van Gien have a run down this straight towards turn 9? See Dobbelsberger kicking up one of the cones there on the exit of turn 9 there. But this battle for 3rd place has got us absolutely engrossed. And Dobbelsberger's had a moment down at turn 10. He's about to lose 2nd place to Tim Ellis if he's not careful. He's having to go the long way round of turn 12. Absolute dream for Kyle Power, who's now stretching clear, but side by side for 2nd place. Dobbelsberger locking up his brakes as Ellis goes through now into 2nd place, as it's all getting a bit clunky and clumsy over the curves of the chicane. Tim Ellis takes 2nd place, taking full advantage of that error from Dobbelsberger there. And now Henny and Jonesma on the back of Alex Van Gien. So Henny towards the inside. Actually, Drills was the one with the slipstream and trying to retake the position that Henny claimed a lap ago. And Drills were there using the slipstream from Van Gien to great effect there, but just wasn't quite able, got a little bit boxed in there. Wasn't able to make the move on Henny.
That's it, Henny very wisely there just decided to box him in, make sure he had nowhere to go. So he kept that position and he's still having to defend that quite hard from him behind. Drillsma not going to give up on this place, Chris.
Absolute dream for Kyle Power. Now 2.7 seconds clear. He is gone. And Tim Ellis in 2nd place there, on course for what is amazingly his 1st podium of the season. I can't believe I'm saying it. But only 2 podiums to his name in this championship. None of them from this season. And so he's having an absolutely great race out there at the moment. And he's starting to build that gap to Dobbelsberger while the quartet of cars behind him are squabbling, but Van Gien, he's not through yet in this battle for the podium. We're on the penultimate lap of the race. Oh, big slide for Van Gien, and that gives Henny a bit of momentum, but he can't do anything with it through 11 and 12.
He had a little bit of a look there, but he had to keep his nose clean, so he's thought better of it. Going to see if he can have a lunge down in the 1st corner.
Well, it will be running out of opportunities pretty quickly as Kyle Power starts the final lap of the race, as do the cars behind. We're riding with Danny Henny down the straight. 3-second lead for Power out at front, but this is the battle for 2nd place between Ellis, Dobbelsberger, Van Gien, Henny and Dronsma, all trying to find a way onto the podium. At the moment, they've got to clear Van Gien before they can start thinking about the podium. Look at those 3 cars they round through turn 3. Van Gien hanging on for dear life onto that 4th place spot at the moment, keeping the new championship leader behind him. Surely they'll start thinking about. Surely he'll start thinking about a move, because he's running out of opportunities. Just rounding the back markers there. No way through. He's not finding the momentum he needs to get round that car. And Van Gien, you know how good he is at defending, and he's not likely to make a mistake in the closing stages of this race. Just clipping one of the cones there at turn 9. Got to be careful not to get the slowdown penalty. But he's not close enough to do anything about it. If anything, Van Gien, he locked up again. Another mistake at turn 10 there. This time, though, Henny's not able to take advantage of it at all. And surely there's going to be no way through in this final sector of the lap. And it looks like Van Gien's going to hang on to this 4th place spot. But meanwhile, Kyle Power comes out of the final chicane, rounds that final corner. It was a dreadful race 2, but he has made up for it more than enough in race 3 with a brilliant victory in the last race of the night. The round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. Race 3 goes to Kyle Power. Tim Ellis claims his first podium of the season, and Alexander Dobbelsberger in third place. A brilliant drive from all of those cars. Brilliant fighting up at the front of the field. Alex Van Gien led that one for a bit, finishes in fourth place ahead of Danny Henny and Alex Dronsma. Colin Ward, EJ Anderson, Lucas Raskowitz and Luca Harrison getting up into the top 10 there. What a night.
And what a night for Kyle Power. We're joined in the booth by Kyle, our race winner. You had to earn that one, didn't you?
Yeah, that was pretty spicy. That was a good little race there. Always fun, battling Alex squared at the front there. I owe Alex Dopersberger and John Langen an apology for race 2. I made a bit of a over-opportunistic move, clipped the curb, and I think they both come off worse. And I spanned as well, but they were the victims. And then I felt really bad passing Alex Dopersberger for the win there. But always great battling them, and I had to work for that one. But I needed it after my scruffy race 2.
Absolutely, and the points you gained in this race will make up a little bit for that race 2. But it's going to be tight for the championship closing.
Oh, definitely. I'm realistic. I know Danny's got better pace. There are guys in this field that have got better pace than me. It's just if I can just hang on there, and you never know what happens on reverse grid races. I got caught up in an incident today. It could be Danny or Stephen at the next round, but I'd rather not. I'd rather it wouldn't happen that way. I know that they're better than me on pace, but if I can manage to win it via some instances and a bit of racecraft, then I'll take it.
Kyle, it's Spanners here. Great result for your nephew as well in race 2.
Ah, yes, that was brilliant. So what made up for my scruffy race I was disappointed with. I went back and watched a bit of the stream, and superb drive there by Luke. So what a great debut for him. So 2 powers on the podium, I'll take that.
And just quickly speaking of the stream, because I got punted out of race 3, I had a chance to watch back, and I have to say you guys have made a massive step up in production, in entertainment value. Just a massive congratulations to Uncle Steve and Chris Squared on entertaining us this evening. Thank you.
That's mega. And could I just say one more thing? I know my mum's probably watching this. She's recovering. Stay strong, get well soon, and nice one. You're over the worst of it now. Stay strong.
Oh,
that's great to hear. That's brilliant to hear, and we hope you can deliver a nice, competitive and close and entertaining championship fight to round out the season. Of course, both Danny and Kyle going for a trilogy. For Danny, it's titles. For Kyle, it's sort of victories in the karting and our Swarm Championship, and hopefully for this, all in the last month or so. Actually, it's been a really good competitive month for Kyle Power, it must be said. But all that remains for me to say is thank you for joining us, and we will see you for the championship finale in a few weeks' time. My thanks to Sam and Richard for adminning, to Spanners and Jeansy, and to Kyle for joining us in the commentary box, Steve for the wonderful production, and to Chris Catman-Turner for commentating alongside me. Next up is the championship finale, and you won't want to miss it.